Have you ever thought about what happens when you move to a new country? When people move to a new country, they go through a process of cultural, social, and psychological change called acculturation. This process affects both migrants and the host society. At the group level, changes are evident in the social structures, institutions, and cultural practices. Whereas, at an individual level, it exposes changes in a person's repertoire. Changes include coping approaches related with stress and life satisfaction, acquisition of culture, specific skills and appropriate behaviour, and it can even affect your identity and the way you perceive others. A successful integration into the community depends on two factors: the degree in which people wish to maintain their heritage culture, and the degree of contact and participation in the larger host society. Let's imagine that you were born in India. However, your mother decided to travel to Ireland looking for better opportunities. During your childhood, you feel that you don't fit in with anyone in the school. You don't feel part of either Indian or Irish society. You probably would feel marginalised and excluded from society. However, it could be the case that you go to the school and you find other Indian friends. This makes you feel better because you share lots of things in common, and you decide to spend all your time with them. In this scenario, you will be separated from other Irish students, reducing the opportunity to interact with the Irish culture. But what if you find some Irish friends with whom you spend all your time, and you decide to abandon your cultural traditions, taking only the Irish influence? Maybe your mother would not be very happy. However, you will be assimilated in the Irish culture. But what if you could find a balance between maintaining your cultural heritage and having contact and participation in the Irish society? Which one of these scenarios do you think is best for both you and the Irish community? A balance between both maintaining your cultural heritage and contact and participation in the Irish culture is called integration. However, even if you have the desire to integrate completely into the society, the perspective of the Irish society could affect how well you integrate. The Irish society's best approach to your integration is through multiculturalism. Multiculturalism is a complex concept with multiple dimensions. As a demographic fact, multiculturalism could be seen as the cultural diversity of a population in terms of ethnicity, culture, religion, and linguistics within a country, institution, or organisation. However, it is not diversity itself that defines multiculturalism. It is how diverse and equitable inclusion and participation are managed or accommodated in a society through policies. This includes three main components: cultural diversity, intercultural communication, and equitable participation. Recognition and acceptance of cultural diversity predicts psychological well-being for all the members in a society. Equitable participation provides the opportunity for intergroup contact and intercultural sharing expressions, which predict positive intergroup outcomes. Intercultural communication promotes cultural and language knowledge, which predicts socio-cultural adaptation. In a multicultural environment, people can maintain and express their own culture, and learn and receive influence from the host cultural community. A perfect example of multiculturalism is Canada. Canada was the first Western country to adopt an official multiculturalism policy towards ethnic groups, including it in their constitution. In comparison with other Western countries, in Canada, immigrants are more likely to become citizens, to receive better education, to vote, and to run for elections. Canadians are more likely to support immigration and less likely to have prejudiced views towards minority groups. Another good example is Singapore, the most religiously diverse country in the world. Singapore encourages religious diversity by celebrating dates and events significant to each group. As you can see, a successful integration depends on both migrants and the host society, and it benefits everyone. This integration is possible through social inclusion, which is the process of individual self-realization within a society and acceptance and recognition of one's potential by social institutions and the overall community. On an individual level, social inclusion acts as a determinant for health. Greater contact between cultural groups increases well-being and self-esteem. On a community level, social inclusion increases economic gains for local business, increases access to new knowledge, and leads to a more interactive and engaging community. Here is a quick few ways you can be more socially inclusive in your day-to-day life. Listen more. Avoid assumptions. Challenge stereotypes. Be proactive and educate yourself. You are achieving this already by clicking on this video. Ask questions, but remember to always stay respectful. West Limerick Resources works to tackle social exclusion at a local level through local engagement between disadvantaged individuals, community organisations, and public sector agencies, all in favour of a more integrated community in West Limerick. If we can all work together for a more inclusive society, we will have the opportunity to live in a more peaceful and respectful world for everyone.